Welcome to Season 6 of the Long-Winded One podcast. This is Spoiler Sessions, LitRPG, the only show where spoilers don't spoil anything. We're digging into fan theories, side characters, and the lore authors left in the drawer.
Well, I guess maybe the intro is not quite as accurate tonight. We're talking to, instead of talking to strictly authors tonight, we're talking with a group of folks who I bother regularly to please approve my posts in various Facebook groups. And we brought together a bunch of people from some really popular LitRPG groups tonight. And I have some questions for them, and hopefully we're going to have a really nice conversation. So I just want to welcome you all to the podcast. I'm really happy you can be here. We are, if you can believe this, I do this every time. We're 13 weeks away from LitRPG Con, everybody. It's, I can't believe it. I feel like it was just July. And I'm so excited. Some of you are going to be going to Jordan Con, which is coming up here in a little bit. Anybody going to Jordan Con this year?
Not this year.
Yeah, I won't be able to make it this year now.
I'm excited to be there.
Nice. Someday I will get there, I promise. But
Same.
we have a ton of questions tonight, and this is just going to be kind of an open forum. I doubt you'll get many people who are envious of being a moderator. I can't imagine the stuff you guys have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But this is our chance to kind of learn what it's like and kind of the things that you see on the back end.
That'll
and
make you want to burn your eyes off.
Yeah. I mean, we see some of it from the outside, but let's really get into that tonight. And so we have a series of questions here. I'm going to start it with kind of a very basic one. If you can, just introduce yourself. And this is the only one that I'll ask everyone to do. Introduce yourself and the group/groups you're here representing, and tell us quickly how you've become a mod. And just because you're first on my list on my camera, Stephen, would you like to go first?
No problem. So Stephen Landry, my main group, my main focus is Club Kaiju, which actually started as my reader group, but has kind of blown up into a lot more than that. I'm also the mod and admin on LitRPG Forum, as well as Royal Road Authors, and I think there's a few that I don't always look at, but they pop up now and then, like BookSpot and a couple of book promo groups.
I don't know. How do you keep it all straight? Honestly, like I barely see a fraction of what comes across Facebook.
I think for me, it's just like having the app, and I'll get the notification. I'll take a quick glance, and a lot of the time it's like, is this okay or not okay? Going from there.
Yeah, you're the judge and the jury. Well, Jay, how about you?
So my name's Jay Taylor. I'm a moderator of LitRPG, one of the original groups, and then I was a moderator for the LitRPG Society, which eventually became the Gamelit Society. I was the first mod added by Alaron when he created the group, and then I was the first mod added by Blaze when he created the other group. And I owned and ran the Reddit for a couple of years, and then I don't know, like 15, 20 author groups and various Reddits that I have permissions over.
I think we should get you a medal and present medals to all of you at the next conference we're all at. I can't keep like you just said Reddit. Like that's a world that I don't even like to delve into most of the time. My hat's off.
I'm not
to you.
particularly active there anymore, but it was a little easier back in the day when I literally helped create some of the groups. There wasn't a large community. It was a lot easier when there was. I think when I became the second mod for the LitRPG group, I think there's like 15 of us. Like it was, There was nothing there.
And you guys, and maybe Evan will talk about this too, but you guys just came up on your 10-year anniversary here this past year, I think, right? Because yeah, that was awesome. I got to, Jess and I from the In Other Worlds podcast, we got to do I think the very last episode, like celebrating the 10 years, where we had guests on and everything. That was very cool. Well, Evan, we're going to lead.
It was one of the first groups I joined way back in 2016.
Yeah. Yep. Like the first, I think the first LitRPG book I ever read was in like 2017 or 2018. So you guys were right at the very forefront of it. Evan, we'll go to you now.
I run the. I help run. I'm sorry, still waking up. I'm a moderator for LitRPG. I've been there for I don't know how long now with Jay, and I think me and Jay are probably two of the more original members now. We've had people come and go. I kind of just became a mod just during the chaos. I mean, it was crazy in there for a while. And now it's just a great group.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we click live, you said you just woke up. We determined that you don't have bed head, you have bed beard.
Yeah.
So I'd like to coin that term. Just
yeah. My day job, well, night job is third shift. So it's I'm just not getting there right now.
I do have beard envy though. You have a very nice
yeah.
All right, well, Sean, we'll kind of wrap up question one here. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Sean Hall. I am an admin of LitRPG Books. It's now the largest genre Facebook group right now, and we're almost at 61,000 people in there, so it's pretty massive. The way I got involved was actually I started off at beta reading for a lot of publishers and things of that nature, and Dawn was one of the admin of the group, and she, sent out a I don't know, asking for help, and I offered, and I had already beta read some of her stuff, so she had me come in and join, and actually just saw that today, or not today, but this month has been 8 years I've been moderating the group and whatnot, and it's just grown so massive, so bad that we actually put out another call we're looking for 2 more mods in the group to kind of help with everything.
Yeah, I saw that post today. You're particularly looking for people, or at least one person in Europe, right, to cover that time slot.
Yeah, because I mean, there are 4 of us that are pretty active. 3 of us are in the States, and then we have Dawn, who's in the UK. Yeah. And with how many hats she wears, it's ridiculous, and she needs some more help during that kind of time slot to keep an eye on the stuff that's been slipping in lately, with the craziness going on and things.
I should just take a moment here to say that there were a few other people that I could have very easily had on this panel tonight, but Don's already been on the podcast this season. Jay's already been on this season, so it's best to. I learned from my very first episode with TJ, where I think we had like 6 people on. It was utter chaos. So I tried to keep this group small. But let's go quickly to the next question, so we have some time for these questions, because believe it or not, we're already 10 minutes in, and this will be just like whoever wants to take it first can take it. Okay, so the question is, it's not really a 2-parter, but you can answer whichever one of these. That it's basically asking the same thing, right? So, what makes a good group? And we're talking about Facebook groups here, and your favorite part about being a part of the group, right? Anybody want to take that?
Yeah, I will. So what makes a good group, I think, is just the sense of community that we've built in this genre. I mean, for the people who were at LitRPG Con last year, it felt like a family reunion, and you actually liked everyone who was there, kind of deal, and I'm looking forward to this one coming up in July as well, and seeing how much more family we have showing up at the con. But I really like, the sense of community we have with this genre.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I definitely second that. The community has been amazing and inspiring. Like ever since I joined LitRPG in 2016, I've made like hundreds of new friends and been able to go and experience things that never even imagined possible because of the community at large.
Yeah. And
I'd also say one of the things I love about being a mod and admin is we're kind of the first to see the artwork and cool covers and new books and posts. And that's always really exciting.
Well, you guys, outside of being moderators, you're also fans, and some of you are authors, and some of you are artists, right? So, I didn't plug that a little bit. We'll get a chance at the end to maybe talk about some of that. But some of you wear more than one hat here. You're not just moderators. So, yeah. Jay or Evan, you're welcome to comment on this if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll throw one more thing in there if you don't mind, Evan. One of the big things that I really like about our community and the way I see our groups form that is very unique, especially in the book genre, is the interaction between authors and readers, the fans. It creates a sense of community and a level of accessibility that you just don't see in almost any other genre on the planet. Even in author groups that are specific for an individual author, the amount of interactions we get between our authors and our fandom is just insane. And the accessibility is intentionally an effort made by those authors. And that's something I always like to call out and like to appreciate, because that's one of the things that really drives the community in a lot of different ways. Fans interacting with each other will always be a huge component of a community, and that's awesome. But how many other places do you know that you could just post and get the authors interacting on your stuff and not just saying thank you? It's like actual interactions, actual comments, giveaways, getting feedback, asking for it. It's such a unique thing.
I feel like our communities have been able to do a lot of charity. And help a lot of people out as well. I'm wearing the shirt right now, Stop Soldier Suicide. Last November, my group raised money for their organization. And I know we've done St. Jude and other charities as well.
Done a lot with the Shriners as well over the years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's really awesome to see a lot of the interactions between authors and readers like Jay was talking about. I mean, you just don't see that anywhere else in any other genre, because
it sets us apart.
You've got a lot of authors out there who started out part-time writing, full-time jobs, or they started out as just fans, and they still act just like regular old people, just like anybody else, which is just really refreshing to see, because no one's getting a massive head or ego over, success in writing. They're still very comfortable and okay with interacting with regular, just anybody, which is really awesome to see.
Yeah. We have Eric always rolls a one is in the chat. He's watching and he's commenting. He said this year we will be there. There's going to be a chance to donate to Hero Pups, which I correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. You can put it in the chat if you want to, but has to do with the posters in the author signing room, I believe. But you can comment on that. But yeah, there's a lot of good people a lot of caring people in our communities. We have we've kind of transitioned from the question into some other questions that I was going to ask, and you can I'm gonna just ask it. I think we've kind of answered it, and if we don't have anything to add, there's a very easy follow-up question to this. Let me ask this first though. What's something that outsiders of LitRPG don't understand about why this genre builds such active communities? And you can see how we've kind of dipped a toe into this already.
honestly, I think it's just a lot of the gamer community out there. They don't have, and I'm not trying to say we're all. Oh, hang on a second.
Your desk is raising on you. Oh
My
God,
desk is raising on me. Sorry.
it's coming right at him.
I mean,
Um,
I know I'm a gamer, and I'm also kind of socially awkward. I have
yeah.
high anxiety, but coming into these groups, and it didn't feel like there was a barrier. It felt like finding a like-minded community.
Yeah, it
And
feels real natural.
yeah, and in other groups, because I do actually, I'm an admin for a horror group as well, Horror Writers Inc. It's not quite, it's there, like there's a community, but it's not like a family in the same sense that LitRPG is.
Yeah, and you guys, you're right. You really get a sense of that when you meet face to face. I was really nervous. I've been to lots of conferences, not necessarily cons, but like conferences for work, and I've gone to cities where I didn't know anybody, and I've never felt so welcomed as I have last year at LitRPG Con. And if your groups are like that, I mean, it must be right. It's like it's the virtual version of these cons that we go to.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've got so many great people in I know our group. I mean, everybody is always so welcoming and encouraging. They are always throwing book recommendations out there for everybody else. Some stuff I've never even heard of. And I have found some really great series just through that. And you just see so many great interactions. I mean, everybody's just happy to be there with their people.
Yeah.
I think a large portion of it relates to the fact that we already have a connection beyond our associated genre of fiction. Being as this entire system is built on games, it's built on the things that we already do for a hobby. We already have more things in common than you would usually find in a broader genre such as fantasy, romance, things like, when you start getting into some of the niche genres, like that's where you see some of that similar overlap. And realistically, we are a niche genre. It's just the amount of people we have in our niche is a significant portion comparative to most niche aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when Stephen was the first to log in tonight, and we just immediately started talking about D&D, and before that we were talking about music, right? So yeah. And Stephen, by the way, has some good taste in music. Well, you guys, I think kind of the more let me ask the next question, because I think we're right there, and I really think we're exploding, right? We've one author told me last year that we have hit the zeitgeist, right? That LitRPG now is in kind of the mainstream, and so here's the question. Can a genre community like LitRPG keep that close-knit grassroots feeling once it reaches a certain size? Or is that just... well, you get where I'm going with this, right? Because this year, I think LitRPG's, if a con is representative of our community, right? LitRPG Con is going to be almost twice the size, right? We're probably going to outgrow the space soon. Can we keep this feeling? And frankly, will our members be comfortable if it grows too big?
I think some will be comfortable and some won't. I think that's going to be such an individual choice.
Yeah.
And that might be that they might not be comfortable going to a con of a certain size. They might want to pick out some of the smaller ones that their favorite authors are featuring in and going to things. And then, a good portion of that's going to be how we handle some of that growth, with the fact that we are our own library tag now. So we are a searchable piece on Amazon. We're a searchable piece in a number of things, something we've been campaigning for 10 years. And then one of the other major components of that is, I won't say the number, but I am aware of a number of TV shows coming. The most popular one that everyone knows about right now is Dungeon Crawler Carl, because he's been posting different updates and sharing different pieces. But but that is not the only one. There's quite a few that are moving in places that I can't say because of NDAs and other pieces. But not only are we hitting mainstream, the deals that are being offered to some of the authors, some of the reaches we're getting, and even to some of the people who work in different aspects of behind the scenes work, having direct impact to some of the major big five publishers. We already aren't small. We have already reached a level that is just insane. Quite.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to slow down. I think if anything, that's going to balloon into a way, hopefully with appropriate moderation, we can keep our groups in a more controlled manner. But some of it will be certain groups will grow insane and will be super large, and it will become more membership. Some of them, I think, will always be spun off to create a smaller, more niche piece. I think it's the choice of the group itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you hinted at some of these things here, and I definitely want to get everybody else's comments too. But like one of the things that we've been talking about lately, particularly in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, are like people getting into brick and mortar stores, right? Some of our authors getting in. Michael Chatfield, who I talked with last week, is about to start a North American tour, which is, and he's going to start here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So we're going to go support him for that. Please though, add on to what Jay said.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Well, I was going to kind of talk about the growth too, with it blowing up and with Matt Dinneman posting everywhere, and it becoming more popular. Like I'm seeing a lot of TikToks about, kind of the main ones, what Primal Hunter, DCC, He Who Fights, and you're seeing a lot more of these posts. So we are growing. But the other side we got to keep an eye on as moderators too are we're going to start seeing a rise of maybe some bad apples coming in, like there was that whole incident earlier this year, end of last year, regarding a publishing company, kind of jamming up authors and things. So we do have to also keep an eye out for that kind of thing as well, But I think with how close our community is, I don't think they really understand that we talk with each other quite a bit. I mean, last night I was in a Discord chat with a bunch of moderators in regards to the AI, and how a lot of people are doing witch hunts and they're claiming, oh, that's AI. And it's like, if AI couldn't tell it's AI, how are you able to tell, and stuff like this, unless there's some blatantly obvious things.
I was really disappointed to find out Frankenstein was all AI written.
I think going along with that is one of the cool things about the community too, is that we are still grassroots, we are still fans, and the publishers and stuff are not interfering with the groups themselves. Like we are still independent of that.
Yeah,
That was an effort. That was a fight years ago.
Yeah.
Tell me more, Jay.
Which period of time do you want to hear about? I've fought with publishers for years. I've worked with many publishers.
Yeah.
I've worked with some great ones, Shadow Alley. I've worked with Mountaindale. I've worked with a couple others. I do a lot with Shinhofen. He has his own little publishing company, Shinhofen Books. And so I've worked with, honestly, most of the big names in the genre, whether it's a beta, developmental editing, some other aspect in behind the scenes. I've worked with most of the people. And I think that's a big thing of what Sean was saying, is it's been very easy for us to kind of vibe check a lot of these incoming pieces. Being that there are quite a few of us in the genre who are, let's just go with hyper-focused instead of any other terminology. There's quite a few of us who like reading contracts. Like, it's a weird niche nerd thing, but like, so people will post them in certain spots and we'll be like, well, why is this written in this language? You know what that means, right? Like,
yeah.
And, obviously they need to go to lawyers, but the amount of stuff that we've caught that's very predatory in initial contracts on like first passes, and that people say, hey, I had a really bad experience with this publisher, and it's not bad mouthing. They're not putting it out everywhere. It's when someone's reaching out for advice, communication. That's one of the things I've always thought has been very good, is that most people in this genre have been very much, it's a concentrated effort to not create a toxic community.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been especially the early days of the LitRPG group when I first became a mod. I mean, it was the Wild West in there. I mean, it was crazy. Jay remembers. And I think we were at like 3,000 members or something like that when I came in, and I mean it was just.
Was it because there were no like established rules, or what do you mean crazy?
There were established rules, but
Facebook moderation was much more simplistic at the time. A lot of the tools that we utilize and have now, the automations, the pieces that they've built into the group management, none of that existed.
Like the terms and the genre was settling and coming in, and not everybody even agreed on what the genre should be called at that time.
They still don't agree on what is LitRPG versus what's game lit. And it, you know, like I've had that argument for a decade and some change now.
Yeah. So Robert Bevan once said on my podcast, or I think it was Robert Bevan. He basically said, I think it's lit RPG is for anybody who doesn't want game lit slapped on their book. I think that was Robert Bevan that said that. We have somebody in chat.
Enough, my first book, I did have game lit slapped on the cover.
So if I'm misquoting you, Robert Bevan, I apologize. Let's see here. We have Jay Thor in chat that says, thanks for all you guys do. Crazy to think I've been messaging some of you for 5 years. Oh, and it's this is JJ Thorne. JJ, welcome again. Welcome back on. So we have 2 more questions I'd like to get to if we can, and then so we're going to go over that 30-minute mark probably, but then I want to open it up to you all about things that you're excited for, things that you might have coming out, things that the group might have going on. But the first question is, what trends are you seeing right now in your groups? And I'm sure we've covered some of them: contracts, AI, right? TV shows, right? Is there anything else?
I like seeing the change on how LitRPG authors are now kind of, I guess you could say, evolving the way that they're writing their books. I mean, back when everything kind of started, everything was really, really crunchy a lot of times because that's just what was there. That's what we had. But now you're seeing this emergence of kind of a blend between, the cultivation style and throwing in some crunch in there. Is kind of a blend of the two, which is really nice because I feel like it also lets the story flow really well. And you're not as overwhelmed with a lot of stats. And a lot of people love a super crunchy book. A lot of people love that, and I love it too. But sometimes I really like the blend. I feel like it feels a little more immersive, I guess is the word I'm looking for, maybe.
I like when there's a real focus on the characters, but also on top of that, I love how LitRPG, there's almost always something like kind of trending, but then it switches. Like 1 minute it could be post-apocalyptic, then it's tamer, then it's deck builder. But it makes it so there's always something for everybody.
There are some crazy specific things people want, and you actually find them, and it's just like
you can ask the community for that specific thing, and somebody will have a recommendation.
I think that's one of the
sports lit RPG. Who would have thought?
That it's keeping things authentic too, because some of that it keeps the right to market from being as easy as it can be in a lot of other places, because they can't just, by the time they've written something to whatever the current trend is, it's gone. Like so it's not going to hit in the way that it could. So I think it filtered out a lot of that early on, which made it a more approachable piece.
So Jay, I was just talking with JD Glasscock about writing to market, right? Not like copying somebody, he says, but like writing to what people
hitting
want.
The right tropes, doing the appropriate things, meeting the expectations for an individual genre.
But listening to what you're saying is like writing to market could be tricky sometimes, right? Because it's evolving so much.
It very much is, but I think that's a very in-depth discussion. But the piece that I look at,
I think as gamers too, as long as you're writing what you know and you write from like something that you would enjoy, others in the community are going to find joy in it as well.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, there's a difference between writing to something that you enjoy and go with, and writing to something for a profitability standpoint, saying this is a very hot genre right now. I'm not a gamer. I don't do any of these things. I know nothing about it, but I'm going to add these stat points in here because that's what sells. And then they don't actually mean anything, which means it actually causes more of a problem.
In our
than it fixes.
community, we can tell.
Yeah.
And you're seeing a lot of those authors that write in other genres coming over to LitRPG because they're seeing the growth, and they're like, "Oh, I could write a fantasy and throw some numbers in there," and then you get it's nothing except just to meet the genre requirements in essence.
Or the repackaged ones where they literally took a book they had already published in another genre and just added LitRPG elements into it.
Have you caught that, Jay? Have you seen that before?
Oh yeah, that is total. And so some of the biggest authors in the world, and I'm not going to throw out some names, but people from other genres, some of the most successful indie authors in the world have written in LitRPG, and you can't find their books anymore because they took them down after the critical reception, because they decided that they had a better idea of what would be marketable and what people would really want than the community, and the community did not accept it. And it didn't. Their name didn't carry the weight that they expected and hoped, and it didn't.
I think that kind of goes back to us being an actual community too. Is we have our community have expectations that are different from other genres, and that's one of the things that makes us also so close. So other things that work in other genres won't work.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. So, Holly, I think this is related to my question. Holly, tell me if it doesn't. But in chat, Holly says the Kickstarter / crowdfunding are taking off for those who have been established and doing deluxe / special editions. David North has this really nice special edition version of one of his books that came out. And I don't know if that's what she's talking about, but is that a trend that you all are seeing in your groups?
Yeah, I mean, Primal Hunter just had one recently that came out. David North has one. Dakota Kraut is running one pretty frequently now for his Completions Chronicles. So yeah, you're seeing a lot more of these popping up in such a way, and people are wanting them. I think Cradle had a series one going as well.
Yeah,
Cradle and another
all the stats they're on the thing behind me.
Yeah. And another one you're seeing, another item is web comics or graphic novels are starting to kind of get a rise, though. It's been really hit or miss on those, because you're seeing a lot of people are going, oh, this was great. And some were like, I didn't care much for it. Like even JJ Thorne had one come out for his System Orphan or Apocalypse or Orphan series.
And Don't Combust.
Don't Combust.
Don't Combust. Right. Yeah, he's got that one. Yeah, so you're seeing that kind of appearing. And again, it's hit or miss. I think a lot of it depends on how true to this book it's coming, and I guess the image that people are getting compared to what's being drawn makes a big difference as well.
Well, I think too, for those, like there's a whole different crowd too, people that might not know LitRPG who do like a webtoon, right? Stephen and I were talking about webtoon before we hit go live, and like my daughter was the first one to tell me about webtoon and all the stories she's reading and how excited it's very similar to like the Royal Road experience, right? Because a lot of these people.
One of the cool things about it is that is also going to bring in more of a younger crowd as well, because a lot of like teenagers and young adults love webtoon.
Yeah.
It reaches an entirely different subsect of people than our normal gaming methods that already brought us all together. It's another avenue of reaching to the same content that they're all going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Same thing with the TV shows and movies that are coming. You know what I mean? Like it's another way to introduce people. It's just because they're coming from one method or another doesn't mean they're not going to find the same things.
And
more ways we have. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna cut us off here so I can squeeze in this one more question. What conversations come up in the LitRPG communities over and over and over again? Some of you probably think like, oh my gosh, we're having this conversation again. We had it like 10 years ago. Are there any things that come to mind?
Book recommendations. I like Dungeon Crawler Carl and Primal Hunter, and then you see the same
Yeah.
4 books listed like 15 times.
Yeah.
Or somebody will, especially like right after a promotion day, or somebody had just announced it. Is when is the next book coming out, or when is this next? And I was like, well, if you look, you'll see it.
Do a search.
Yeah.
What's that other one is a new book comes out and then someone's like, hey, help me remember the name of this book, and they describe the new book that just came out. It's like, how'd you forget that one? That came out like a month ago.
Yeah.
So
the one that gets me every time is this LitRPG?
Yeah.
And it devolves into the argument.
Or is this
there
RPG? Is this cultivation? Is this game lit? Sometimes they're still trying to define the stats.
Jay, did you have more to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's most of it. It's the definition changes from group to group, from person to person, and so like whatever the adopted formula is for that particular location,
or
people argue forever, and it's just ad nauseum. The same argument with the same 10 people.
Books that are obviously harem, that people don't realize are harem, even though they have the girl on the.
Like, did you look at the cover? Are you sure?
There are a few out there that
expecting this.
Oh my god! There are a few out there that are harem that do not have the girl on the cover, and you're like, wait a second, what did I just pick up all of a sudden?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. The community is like very opinionated on harem novels. I've learned.
I think we're pretty opinionated on most subjects.
Yeah. The one that I see all the time is about narrators. Well, I think this particular narrator I don't really, or this I really love this narrator. Like those poor narrators. That's all I gotta say.
Man, yeah.
Gotta have a thick skin, unfortunately. I don't like it when people get personal on those. You're welcome to say that you don't like the narrator or whatever, but how easily it veers off into legitimate attacks, I'm not.
That is one thing we have battled a lot in the past in LitRPG, is the difference between a personal attack and just a regular opinion. It's like, opinions are okay. It's okay to not like a book. It's okay to not like an author or narrator. But when you start getting personal, that's when we're just going to kick you out, probably.
It's a fine line.
It's not okay. Right? Yeah, it's not okay. They're people.
It's one of those things where some people just need to be loud, and you're going to have those in every community. And that's why I'm glad we have such good mods that can go by a vibe, that can go get on there instantly and address issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed to have an opinion, but don't be attacking them just to attack them, and be like, hey, you know what? I don't like. We had a wandering in post recently, and that's got a lot of engagement, and that's a book that's very much a love it or hate it type. There's not really someone who's like, no, they either loved it or they hated it. Yep. But when you get people going in there and just bad mouthing the author or the narrator or any of that, it's like, nah, okay, we gotta remove these comments. And that kind of deal. But if you're saying, hey, like I went in there and I said, hey, wasn't for me, but some people loved it. Okay. Plain and simple. There's my opinion about it.
And these are people that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you, I can tell you that narrators oftentimes may decide to either take or not take a job based on like a previous experience, whether they've had like a bad experience with something or a community or, these are people we're talking about. Yeah. So we got a few comments here in the chat. JJ Thorne says, do you believe it is becoming harder to reach people on the groups as they're getting bigger, more stories, more posts, etc.?
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, we have the questions you have to answer to join books, and man, I can't not tell you how many people have put, because of Matt Dinneman, we heard about your group, or that. So it's been kind of interesting, and I actually think it's helping to boost the growth of the genre, especially as he's getting out there more. Like he just posted recently about he went to a Colorado hockey game, and it was a Dungeon Crawler Carl night, and he had a book signing and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, this is a genre again that we're a community, and we love seeing people succeed, because now it's bringing more people in, where now more authors can possibly succeed, because people are coming in and like, I got to read everything I can in this genre because it's great, and like we've said, there's different tastes for different people. It's almost like
Yeah,
like
100%.
fantasy, all these subgenres. LitRPG is the same thing. You got like Isekai, System Apocalypse, Portals, Towers. And you could just go through like all these subgenres in a way, and you could probably scratch almost any itch that you have for reading out there.
Yeah, there will be people that read just what's trending, but there are also people that dive fully in, and those people it's
dive
awesome.
in and never come up for air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has a sub genre itch that needs to be scratched in Celtic lit RPG, just I'm your guy. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just kidding. But so anybody else have anything to add before we go into the very last question, which is what you guys have coming out and what you're excited for? Anything else you want to add? Anything that the folks in the chat want to add? But by the time it shows up in chat, it will probably be on to the next thing. Welcome to the party, Doug. He posted in chat. All right.
He's always late.
Okay. Well, if nobody has anything here, tell us what you have going on. It could be something, an event you have going on in the group. It could be something, a conference that you're going to. It could be a book release that you have. It could be a project that you're working on. I'm all ears here.
I'll be at JordanCon later this week. I'll have some promo cards based on my book characters to give away. I might have a few books on me. I'm really looking forward to just seeing everybody again. My books are available on Amazon, Stardivers, Vampire Sorcerer, and Station Company Corps with Jeffrey Logue. Let's see. And then I'm currently, I haven't released anything in a while because I've been working on four different series, four serials on my Patreon, including one that I've talked about in a couple of podcasts called Kaiju Core, which is a kaiju cultivation story.
Very cool. Very cool. And I'm bummed that I won't get to make it to JordanCon to meet you in person, Stephen, but I hope to meet you someday. I'm probably going to always go to LitRPG Con, so if you're ever there, I'll see you there.
We're hoping to make it next year.
Great. Well, Jay, what about you?
So I think the big thing that I have coming up is one of the Kickstarters that I've been working on with some other people is the Daniel Shinhofen Aethers special edition.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I almost brought the full book on to show here, but the original preview for the brand new piece has been promised elsewhere, so I'm not gonna cross that line and get murdered by my partner.
Okay. Fair enough.
But that one's coming, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff. I've pretty much everybody in the genre has read books that I've worked on and that I'm working on now. They will read them. So I work on a lot of stuff, unfortunately. So.
No, definitely fortunately. Yeah. Well, I've never really chatted outside of Facebook Messenger, so it's a pleasure to get to meet you tonight, Jay. Well, Evan, what do you have coming up here that you're excited about?
I actually am the boring one in the group right now. I don't have anything going on. I am just right now. I'm just working a lot. I just got a new job last year, so they are working us to death. So I'm doing a lot of audiobooks, and I took a very big advantage of the sale that went on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many books I bought. I got yelled at a little bit for how much money I spent on books, but it's worth it. So,
would you be able to tell us what's on your TBR right now?
Oh gosh,
maybe just top three, like
David North's books, the Guardians of
Era.
Sir
Wild Era. his newest series?
Yes. I actually went through those, and then I'm in the series before that. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's the
Astrofall,
that's it, Astrofall Guardians, or
Guardians of
yeah,
Astrofall.
that's the one I'm in right now. I'm still in the first book and digging through that one, and
That right there was an example of how the community works.
yeah, exactly.
Cody Simmons and
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Stephen.
Yeah, if I don't have it right in front of me, I will not remember the name. But yeah, I am deep into that first book right now. They had an omnibus come out, and I snagged it up, and then I snagged all the other books in the series. So
Yeah.
I'll be busy for a while with those for sure.
Awesome. Well, just like Jay, Evan, I'd never kind of met you, and this isn't face to face, but it kind of is. So it's nice to meet you tonight.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
And Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I just had my Goblin trilogy, the covers redone. Actually, Stephen did the typo on it, and it looks so amazing. So glad to do that. I have.
It was a real honor. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great, man. So hopefully, some of the other people I send your way, can help them out as well. But I also have a 2 books up on Royal Road, like posting Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. It's a tower climber one about 4 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Book 2 is currently posting right now, but it is complete. So that one will be fully up there here probably in the next month or so with my posting schedule. And then, yeah, just keeping busy with, I got another series I'm working on as well. Well, 2 more. Slice of Life about a trucker who becomes a caravan master in a new life, and another one about an IRS agent dying and coming back and kind of auditing a system. So,
oh, that's fun.
Having some fun with those.
We have a fair amount of like trucker lit RPG fans in the community.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely, I think that book is going to appeal to a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a slice of life, and it's probably, depending on how well it does, it's mostly like a one and done type deal instead of a series like a lot of these other books are in this genre. Because that's another big thing. A lot of the books in this genre are 10, 12, 35,000 books, So it's kind of nice to have these.
Point out another great thing about the community is like I know me as an author, I'm always doing giveaways, and I've talked to truckers, and like if they were looking for an audiobook, like just something random, I'd send them a code, and I know a lot of us are like that.
Oh yeah,
100%. Yeah, a lot of giveaways in our community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I am going to cut us off because we've I try to keep this within like speaking of truckers and commuting times and stuff. I try to keep it into about 20 to 30 minutes, and we've gone way past that. So I just want to say thank you all for being here, and thanks for joining us in this countdown to LitRPG Con for me. Next week we'll have Stuart Gross on the podcast. And anything for the good of the order before we wave goodbye? No.
Thank you all for being there.
Look forward to see everyone at LitRPG Con.
All right. We'll see everybody. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Long way.